Hey there, Charlie here. I totally could have probably gotten dressed for you. Sorry, just felt like hitting record, and I don't, you get those feelings, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Plus, it was 8:08 on the clock, and I was like, well, that's a fun number. So, excuse me while I get a little less scandalous for you. Although, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've had thoughts about being like, hey, do you actually want to see what my body shape is? Because, like, it's weird. Very Michelin man. Yeah, very Michelin man. No, thank you. I don't want to put that outside of clothes. I'm good. I'm good. Oh my God. Although, for real, actually, because we have like full length mirrors in the shower building. I don't know. There's full length mirrors in there. And so every time because when you turn on the water here, you often do have to just let it run. Not a problem. We have a closed loop water recycling system. So even if it runs for 10 minutes, that water's coming back. It's not getting wasted. But sometimes it just doesn't heat up. Like, that's just a common thing here. So turn the shower on and I'll just sort of be waiting because I still have my process. Even if I know that that's the case, I still just have the things that I do in a regimented way. So I'm just standing there naked, looking in the mirror and just going, hey, buddy, what's going on? And like, based on how I look, you remember Crumb from Our Real Monsters? Well, he didn't really have like, hills and valleys. I definitely do. But because I have like a little skin rash situation because of a flap, because I've gained and lost a lot of weight over the years, I'll look in the mirror and it'll just be like my boobs will just be like the eyes kind of, and then belly button like the nose, and then like depending on what looks like the mouth, like fine, but like I'll take my skin flap and I'll just go it looks like lips. Oh man, Randy finds that funny. So do I. And that's just my goal for like future sexual partners, Can you find that funny? Can you find the funny in how I see my own body? If yes, yay, let's explore sexual stuff together. If no, go away. You clearly are not cool enough to ride this ride. And that's been a learning experience for me because, lack of experience means that you don't know. You're just throwing a bunch of things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And then you end up with romantic entanglements that when they end, you're just like, wow, did I really need to go through that? I guess I did. Really wish I hadn't. I wanted to just get on here and debrief a little bit about this week and what's going on. And yeah, because I made like a brief little video yesterday that here's the thing. Everything I do on here is guided by my internal team, my internal family, by Gaia, by my guides. I channel some stuff through when I'm doing this, and then when I watch it back during the editing process, or just to watch it back before I post it, I'm on the phone with them the whole time, going, all right, oh God, and sometimes I watch it, I'm just like, oh, so long, or I really didn't need to say that, or like there's all of these things, but there's pieces in there that are really, really important to just exist outside of us that feel, yeah. Anyway, I'm basically told like, go for it. We promise you'll be safe. I'm like, okay, all right. And though there is a need for leadership here to actually create a more thoughtful, robust social media policy, I don't like that I vlogged during work. That was not okay. That's a very like can get fired for kind of like, I still continue to like test the things. I'm like, what are actual rules here? I have heard from multiple people that talking shit about Omega get you banned from Omega, get you fired, but that's more of a like lore thing, not necessarily a lived experience thing based on what I can tell. And like same thing, there's nothing in the handbook that I recall reading that says do not vlog at work. And now I can appreciate that they shouldn't maybe have to spell that out, But this day and age, with people who are becoming content creators in childhood, like more of them are going to be coming into Omega, and more of that is going to just be part of the culture. You need to have boundaries in place so that when people, break a rule or do a whatever, you also then have some level of, if not consequence, conversation, and just basically a process for yourselves for what you do with that. Are you asking them to remove things? Are you telling them that they could lose their job if they get like a second infraction? Is it a one and done? Like, you need to know yourselves so that when it happens, you are responding to it appropriately. Because I'm on my way out, I'm basically just feeding them with things to fucking consider so that they will actually have these conversations, make what they need to make so that they're just fucking proactive enough to deal with it before it becomes a problem. And also, yeah, I fidgeted so much I broke it. For those of you that care. I don't know why I feel like the person who gave this to me has been at all seeing any of my content, but that's okay. I've got a hot glue gun at home. Plus we have a hot glue gun in the art hut. Oh, also, just a side note, there's 2 spaces for staff. A little complaint. I'll get back to me in just a second, but there's 2 spaces for staff. Like, really. There is a staff lounge, which I recorded like early in the season, and there is an art hut, which I think I've done like a slight recording inside of there like once. Art hut to me is a sacred space, and I don't know, it's the same as the sanctuary. I've not taken my camera into the sanctuary. It's just no. Like, it's a phone-free space. Scout took the phone into the garden one time when no one was there, and we all were just, I was very like, you're breaking a rule, don't break a rule, man, don't do it, because it's also a space, but it's also, the main purpose for that is like, don't talk on your phone in the garden, like, just let it be a nice sacred space. Like, it's like, there's a reason for spaces at Omega to be peaceful spaces. The garden is one of those spaces. The sanctuary is one of those spaces. Kind of end of list, to be completely honest. Everywhere else is just sort of open, right? But like, in general, garden, shh. Sanctuary, cafe, enjoy. Right? Especially I've heard people like primal screaming from the deck. I don't encourage that. It scared the absolute shit out of us, but because we were so worried that something was wrong. Like, don't do that. Like, come on, y'all. Guest services is right downstairs. We've been dealing with central nervous systems like attacking us all day. Please don't primal scream from the cafe. Like, and don't do that to the people in the cafe. They are dealing with knives. Like, don't do that. Okay? Just don't. You need a primal scream? There is nowhere on campus for you to do that. I'm sorry. When you get your little guest survey at the end of your stay here, let leadership know, let the managers know, like, hey, can there please be a place for us to get loud? I would love that. That would be really helpful, like, just to have a space to just be really, really loud. I need that. I would really appreciate that. Because the managers do actually read every single one of those comments. I do know that for a fact. They do. They read them all. Our manager sends us, like, the kudos that people share, where they name us specifically. And there will be a video in the future where I read the ones about us, and I'm gonna feel really weird about it, and I don't know, I read it like the first week she like sent us some, and I was just like, okay, that's cool. I feel weird. It's very nice that people named Charlie or named the person in the rainbow hoodie, but now I feel weird. But yes, I will be reading those, and they truly do read them. Participant feedback is important, and I'm glad that that's the case. I do believe changes happen because of participant feedback, so that's cool. But back to the spaces for staff, though. The art hut used to be the bookstore years ago. It's a building that has no insulation. It appears to have leaks in the roof based on what I've seen, like, just because you can see leaks pretty easily when it rains a lot, right? On the outside, at least, you can definitely see that there's visible mold just like everywhere. But in the space, you don't really smell it. But often, because of the heat, like, it can't be opened for staff to just try to enjoy. So it's kind of hit or miss as to when, unless the weather cooperates, as to when staff can even be in that space. And it's not a 24-hour space. It's staffed by, one person. It would be really helpful if it was staffed by more people throughout the season so that staff had an opportunity to be in there anytime that they need it. And that's not a personal complaint for me, just sort of a like, hey, it would be nice if you could just have the resources so that staff have the extra resources that they need to help themselves get filled. Expecting one person working 35 hours a week to meet the needs of 150 staff members for artistic expression that's not enough. Like one full-time person and maybe like 2 part-time people would probably be the best way to handle that personally. Because many people also like working here part-time, and then they maybe tent camper. I don't know. There's a bunch of different whatevers, right? I just know that it's a very sacred space to me, and the fact that it seems to be treated like, I don't know. It makes me really sad to see the roof leaking. It makes me really sad to see mold. It makes me really sad that there's no interest in making a space, like prioritizing a space for staff. Because the staff lounge, I haven't been in there because I can't handle the funk that's in there. Like the couches that are in there are pretty old, pretty funky. Yeah, like I walk in and I'm just like, oh, I can't. Too much sensory overload for smell, and just, that feeling of mold? Like it's a black mold, like, I can't. It wasn't that way. I mean, it was a little funky at the very start of the season. So I don't personally know a very helpful solution. I just know that walking into a lounge that feels gross as the staff lounge, it just, I stopped wanting to go in there because every time I did, it just kept reminding me of just how uncared for I felt as staff, and I didn't want to be reminded of that. Yeah. And that's just the consistent thing that I've experienced here. It's just, I wasn't expecting this place to be so dependent on me just being okay with things being kind of shitty sometimes or all the time. Like I've worked at a lot of places that have a lot of structural needs and like things need to change. I've never lived somewhere where I've worked. And yeah, I feel like the argument that anyone could make is, well, every place is like this. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I don't see why it has to be like that. I also don't agree that that's the case. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think living and working at the same place is probably for me. That seems to be not helpful because I need the ability to not be around all this shit. I need that. I need the ability to have people in my life that don't work at the place that I work, because that's very much what I'm used to. Mainly because you really do need that outside perspective to be able to see, like for the comparison of it. Like there is an effect here. Like there's a very psychological bubble effect where this becomes your whole world because, like, how can it not? You're living and working here, and especially if you don't have a car and you're not getting off campus unless you manage to get a ride with someone else somewhere, maybe. Yeah, If I'd seen someone talking about Omega the way that I talked about Omega, good and bad, but just the explanation of things, just throughout the entire time here, I wouldn't have come. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have come. I'm leaving on Tuesday. It's now Friday. And I don't really know what to do with myself between now and then because I'm only really working Saturday and Sunday, unless people need me Monday. I've offered. We'll see. don't really know how to go around saying goodbye to folks, but people here are very used to transitions, and they're very used to goodbyes, and they're very used to all of it. And plenty of people have left already for other things that they're doing because this was not healthy for them. Hmm. Hmm. You know, I'd have had an easier time here if I hadn't gotten a concussion. That much is very true. um, I'm still really bothered that I just didn't feel like I was taken seriously about that. Um, just because I've worked at workplaces where I don't live, where I didn't get a concussion, but things have happened in my life, and the people that I worked with were resourced enough in themselves to offer assistance. People here aren't resourced enough to do that. Staff are not. Staff are so not okay. Maybe not universally. Maybe some folks are doing just great and they're having the time of their lives, but I just see a lot of pain in a lot of people, and I'm used to working in industries. I'm used to working in organizations where people are pained. Like, I'm very used to that. I know what that is. But because people can go home to their families or to their lives outside of work, or to just, and because people have not just here, I don't know. I don't know. I really, I'm at a loss here. I really am. And I want so badly for something good to come from the fact that I was here. I mean, you make an impact when, like, somebody sends you cookies, right? Like, one guest that she was my first pickup. Story time. Doing a bad thing and sharing about a participant, but it is not super identifying information. Maybe a little bit, but try to not. Very first day of work. I didn't work the first day Omega opened to participants on that Friday, but I did work Saturday morning. That was my first shift. 7:30 on the dot, a very angry guy stormed in because he had not really gotten sleep the night before. Two of the rooms, so room 40 or cabin 47 A and B and 48 A and B. This is not advertised, and that's so stupid to me. Those two cabins sit underneath of a dorm on the hill above it. It's one big building. The one above does not have carpeting or really any sound dampening. So you can hear people walking, possibly talking, if you're a light sleeper, or if you came here expecting it to be a quiet, in the woods experience, that's obviously very jarring and very unhappy making. Those are nicer rooms. Like, just, they are. Nice big bed, nice space, you get your own bathroom, like, it's nice. And, yeah, deeply frustrating to be underneath other people, especially when you weren't told that that's what the room is. So 47 and 48. PSA. If for some reason 19 minutes into one of my videos you managed to get here, I don't know. I'm hoping that someone in the future will just take this stuff and, like, toss it out to the internet. Like, I'm not doing it. That's not what I do. I just provide the content. Y'all do whatever you want with it. In a way that serves, like, highest good levels. But he was so angry. And he was taking it out on us. And he was doing it in a controlled way, but he was taking it out on us. And thankfully, my coworker, who's like a senior person in our team, like, she was in charge of the day, basically. She just stepped right in front and, like, took it all in. And I went to go pick up our first ride. So that's how I started my my job here. Anger. And I got in the cart and I went, all right, what is this day gonna be? And then I see her. This absolute vision. I'm gonna do a little bit of a descriptive thing here. I hope that's okay. Okay. Disney hoodie, which I hadn't really seen like branded clothing here. Most people don't do that. We're kind of the only ones. Disney hoodie. Bag that had just beautiful rainbow colors on it. Dyed hair. I won't say what color, but okay, purple. Purple hair. And in addition to just how genuinely perfect for me that human was, she then gets in the cart, has been coming here for ages, knows. She's magic. She is a magic human. There are lots of magic humans that come here. I've gotten to cart so many of them around. Oh my God, it's so cool. People like her, I mean, like, I hate to say that I like, you know, like obviously I want to do a good job for everybody, but people like her are why I love this place. And I do. I love this place. I want people like her to keep coming here and getting everything that they need, because when they're here, they also lighten everything up. It's a very mutually beneficial arrangement. Like, I got to experience the full duality of Omega in like a 5-minute span of time. The complete overwhelm of somebody who this place did not meet the expectations of at all, just unloading everything onto us. And then just pure love emanating from someone who just radiates it. Magic. And I say that because it's one of the beautiful humans that sent us cookies not that long ago. Thank you. They're delicious. Not that like anyone needs to send us things. It's just, she just felt like it, so she did. I've worked at places that do retreats, that do workshops. I worked for the Cape Cod Institute. I felt very taken care of working for that organization. Very small. Everybody overworked. Especially the director. Holy shit. Oh, overworked. But I felt taken care of as a human because of how they always interacted with each other and with me and with the work itself, you know? Here, that's not how it feels. There are some individuals who are like that, but I think there's 60 people on full-time staff and then 150 seasonal staff. And yeah, the bigger your organization, the more things are just not ideal. I don't know, y'all. I just, I haven't enjoyed or appreciated the romantic choices that I've made here, because outside of here, I would not have pursued the things that I've pursued. Like, I just wouldn't have. But loneliness does a number on you. The FOMO, but also just the lack of feeling normal that happens when you're not the person that gets invited to things, and everyone around you is pairing up. Not everyone, I guess, but enough people are pairing up. And there's all these stories of, oh, I met this person at Omega, and this is this, there is very much a culture of family. And when you're someone that doesn't really have external family, and you just want it so bad, and you feel like you came here to find it, at least a little bit. I don't know. I came here hoping that I would find my people, because I've been needing my people. I think what being here has shown me is that I've been in the process of finding my people here more than anywhere. And I've definitely found some of my people here. I've learned a lot. Even when I started, because I was, the whole coming in here, I had a very intentional, like, I'm going to write about my experience here, because it's definitely not going to be, it's both going to be typical, because I want to try to have the Omega experiences that I hear from others are the experiences, and I have a pretty unique perspective, and so I'm going to write about it. And Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods, right? Yeah. That was what, like, came to mind when I was, like, thinking that. And, he didn't finish the Appalachian Trail. He left early because of injury. Was that it? Well. well. I may not have gotten the full Omega experience, but I definitely, like, what did I do? I've been uncomfortable a lot. I've gotten tired of the food. I've had romantic things blow up in my face. I actually quite literally have, like, played out the storylines of at least another, like when I sort of described what was going on, what I heard from a coworker was basically that exact same thing happened 2 years ago here in guest services. And I was just like, okay, wow. I picked up that story, that experience, and hit play on my own heart and played it out. I hated it as an overall story. Oh, it hurt. Yeah. And it does still concern me that the culture here really does just, I don't like that this seems to be a safe place for people who want to take advantage of others. And I'm feeling like if anything about me breaks open ever, I would anticipate that there will be just information. Sharing of, oh, this happened to me and I didn't say anything because I didn't feel like I would be heard, or I didn't feel safe doing that. Like, why women who've been harmed here don't feel safe talking to leadership is because there's a culture of non-safety for seasonal staff with leadership. That doesn't just happen overnight. And if you don't do things to address it, and I mean hard things for you to address it, it grows. It's like the algae bloom. Like, you can do a little bit of preventative whatever, but you can't, it's not like an algae bloom where you're just like, well, not really anything we can do about it. That's just nature being nature right now. Yeah, you're allowing for the worst of human nature to thrive here. And if it's not already a severe problem, which I do think it is because women are being harmed, it's definitely gonna be. and the little bits of like yank out the problem as we see it and then just pretend that it's this one issue and one person and one whatever. It's not. Well, I have now also tested to see, will I get fired for speaking my mind on here? I do still have like 1, 2, 3 or 4 more days. They could fire me. That'd be weird. That'd be weird at this stage. That'd be weird. But maybe they still will. I don't know. Maybe someone will finally have caught up to one of the vlogs, get so offended by the fact that I like complained about Elizabeth Lesser that they're so panicked. So they're just like, fire her now, and she'll stop talking. I will never stop talking. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I feel scared right now, myself. I've shared a lot on here. I try to be really intentional about not naming names and not overly describing someone like I just did in this video, and I checked in before I did, so I really hope she's cool with me celebrating her. Yeah, you see, I'm kind of frozen right now. I want to keep talking, but I'm scared. Because I also want to share that I feel really intimidated. And so I'm just going to share it on here. I was led on by somebody who kept making promises to me and kept matching me and kept agreeing with me and lying to me. By his own admission, lying to me. And it hurt. Like, it was really enjoyable, but then toward the end, after like 3 whole fucking days, it all just blew up and it hurt. And the fact that I talked to other people about it, because I do kind of prefer to control my own narrative, especially in community where I know people talk, because what else is there for entertainment? Wi-Fi sucks here. We don't really stream that much or watch that much TV. We are each other's entertainment. I got called a bad friend. I got accused of not considering his feelings. Everything was what I had done wrong. Everything. I got completely verbally lashed at for existing how I exist. And him being mad that I didn't understand things about him that he had never once communicated to me. And even now, all I can think is, I'm actually genuinely scared. What happens if he actually watches any more of the vlogs where I've described anything about what happened between us? Because everything in me recognized the same kinds of just, I have a past. He triggered that past. I am now scared to be in the same room with him alone. I don't feel safe going to PNC about this, so I'm talking to you about it. I don't really feel safe posting this online, especially while I'm still here. But I also know that he knows where I live after here. I don't actually think at all that that is who he is. I don't. I want to be very clear about that. I don't. I just know that I had a very, very scary to me interaction. In the moment, I told him that what was happening was scaring me. And the room that we were in, where he had closed the door, he did open the door. He did respond in a way that told me he understood and respected that. He just did so very angrily. And I know that sharing this feels so dangerous to me based on how he responded to the fact that I talked to my friends about us at lunch. And if this has been my experience here, what the fuck is everyone else experiencing here? I have heard the phrase more than one time, I hate the men here. I've heard that phrase more than one time from women here, multiple women. And truly, when you don't ask specific questions, especially of people that have ADHD, because I know that, my God, do I know that, they won't talk about it. And I'm leaving. I will continue to be an open, whoever it is that needs me and needs whatever it is I can offer in my time here, I will provide. But I'm kind of just scared and needing to just myself. And it's not because of him. Can we please all just agree that this is not a him thing? I got triggered. I triggered the shit out of him. I hurt him too. I did not realize I was hurting him. I can't help but think that if he does actually watch this, he will be very bothered and scared about the fact that he hurt me too. That's how I feel. That's what feels true to me. And I just know that this kind of interpersonal stuff happens a lot here. Because how can it not? A lot of really traumatized people, some of whom have dealt with their shit but are still dealing with it, obviously. Some of whom haven't and are not even super aware of it. A lot of neurodivergence, a lot of loneliness, a lot of what the fuck am I doing here? Not a lot of guidance. Not a lot of care. If you're drowning here, no one really notices. No one noticed me. Spent so many weeks I worked. I came back here. I stopped going to the classes, and yeah, I had one person who was just like, hey, I haven't seen you in classes. But that was someone that I don't see very often. Nobody that I've gotten close with seemed to notice like changes or bigger needs. If anything, everyone's been like, they've had so much of their own stuff, or you know, a lot of people making a lot of deeper connections and friendships around me. And that, like, you know, once or twice when I've like tried to include myself in something, getting a very distinct like, oh God, please don't ask me to, I don't want you to come. Like, I am aware when that vibe comes out. I'm very aware. I get it. I'm weird. I know. It's okay to just say directly to me, I actually feel like I would like to not hang out with you outside of work. Like, us to hang out, I feel more comfortable if I'm being paid, you know? that a hurtful thing? Yeah. But would I then know where we stand? Yeah. I like knowing where I stand with people. It's very helpful because, to be honest with you, because I shared what I shared about Guy, it's a little part of why I'm still hanging out on this because, you know, the longer something is, the less likely someone is to click on it, the less likely they are to watch the whole thing, the less likely they are to get to that point, the safer I am. I mean, really. At least until I'm somewhere more physically safe for me and my central nervous system. Because also, like, you might call this stupid, but I made a commitment to share with you what my experience here has been like. It does no one a service for me to not fully share. And there are times in, months past where I wanted to share some things more deeply, and I was always stopped because, well, I think because I wasn't ready to go yet. And if I was going to be this level of all things, here's just a little helpful comparison when it comes to understanding us. Earlier in the season, about a month in, had a cuddling turned more physical, making out, touch based in nature thing. I really wanted it to be just a long-term thing, but I didn't want it to be like a relationship. I just wanted it to be like, can we be people that have this level of intimacy together and sexual exploration together? But you're not my boyfriend. I'm not your girlfriend. That's not what we are. This is just play. Can we just play, please? And he actually, I think, relationshiped me, and it freaked him out, and he didn't want that because he didn't want the heartbreak associated with it, and just whatever. He'd put a bunch of things on it, right? But once he realized that, he came into my room and he had a respectful, I mean, it kind of did hurt. It did hurt. And he said, this is exactly what I've been asking the universe for, but not with you. That did hurt. Don't tell someone this is what you've been asking the universe for. Just don't say that part. Ow. But it was respectful, and he was gentle about it and kind, and I was like, okay, I need to cry, you need to leave. And he did. He didn't want to, but he did. And then at an open mic, maybe the next week, maybe the week after, I think it was the next week, he was there. And I did not say who it was, but I did describe, and I did say the exact same thing I said to you, where how he broke it off with me. And I made it comical and funny and all of this stuff. And I know he was uncomfortable about that, but I also know he laughed. And at the end, he actually said, thank you for your share. I cried over that ending for 3 weeks. I did so many things in the art hut. I cried so many times in the art hut just making art because it was the rejection of it and the rejection of physical touch. And I enjoyed getting to know him. It was just, he felt like a fun friend to have physical touch with. And I was really upset that he put the relationship suit on us, because it was damn it, man, we could have been fun together. But I totally respected it, and I didn't overwhelm him with anything. This other guy, well, everything in us was just pour the information out. And he very aggressively shamed me for existing like that, and it hurt and scared me. So had very different experiences here with men. That's what I'm trying to say. One, no problem at all with me openly sharing what's going on at open mic. Other one, made me feel threatened for having a conversation in the lunchroom with my friends. I regularly talk about Randy on here, and I know he watches these. He's not always a fan of all the overshares, but he accepts me for who I am. It's why we're getting divorced. He accepts that I don't understand the whole I'm just an open person and He doesn't get it because he's monogamy. I understand monogamy. It also doesn't make sense to me just based on how we are too. I don't get it. I just know it's what is. We both are accepting this very painfully. And also, he's like the safest man I've ever known. Like, he's our only family, and I'm so fucking grateful to have him. I'm so excited to go home to him. Y'all have no idea. I say it's about Mabel. No, I need Randy. If we'd been smarter about this, we would have just temporarily moved to Rhinebeck, and I'd have worked here while just like living in an apartment. But he needed, for his own safety, he needed so badly to just settle. And obviously for our relationship, we needed to have the distance. I really needed to understand what all of these weird, confusing feelings have been. We needed to understand ourselves because new internal family between February and April. So when everybody came online, we needed the space. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to just get to go be myself with him. And thanks to the fact that he's been watching all of this, I'd like to think that he's learned more about channeling in the Akashic Records, and because he's had the distance to do it too and has had time to take it in instead of it just being like a goddamn fire hose. Oh, how are your relationships going? How's your life going? You've been with me for an hour now almost. You getting up, you moving around, getting yourself some water, snacks. You're doing stuff for your body, right? Like good, healthy stuff, I hope. That's good. That's good. If you're not after this video, you really should. Or you can pause it, or you can just, you don't have to keep. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you continuing to be here. Has there been enough distance yet? Are we long enough now? Does it need to be over an hour for him not to see it? I know, I'm still scared. I'm sorry, I'm still scared. And my feelings are what they are. I guarantee you, he thinks I'm crazy. I mean, sure, fine. I just, yeah. Don't lie to me and lead me on and then expect me to not think that we're starting to have a relationship and needing you to understand that we're complicated. That's all I was trying to do. He didn't ask questions, so I just shared. Okay. Final check-in. Anything anyone wants to share? Okay, Scout wants to talk a little bit.
Hi. We're gonna make Charlie eat. Cause she still won't do it. But that's okay. Cause we learned yesterday that maybe they don't put the pad thai out like right away, and we think it's maybe in there, and we're gonna make her go eat it now. So pad thai for breakfast. Yeah, we're gonna make her do that. And maybe I'm just gonna stay fronting all day, but maybe not with the cat ears, cause people, I don't want to talk to everybody. I only like talking to, a couple, 3 friends here. 4 friends, but she's only here for right now. Yeah. And, we're not really scared, but, there's, Charlie can tell you.
Okay. Sorry. I just genuinely want to reiterate. I'm not actually scared of this guy. I feel guilty for sharing that on here. I feel guilty for doing that. I just more so share it because in this place, with so much happening for everyone, the speed of things can just be overwhelming and intense. And the ways in which we react with one another can be very, very triggering to a lot of things. And that's why you also want to take time, if that kind of interaction happens with someone who then does feel safe going to PNC. Like, I don't think it's appropriate for PNC to just up and fire the guy because someone comes in and says, I felt scared and threatened for blah, 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 blah. Because there needs to be a larger conversation around what happened here, how are you both feeling now, what's going on. That's not the same thing at all as repeated pattern of behavior over time, that blah, 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 like different thing, right? But like, I can see how if I went and said what I said to them on here, that the instantaneous reaction would just be, well, just blah. No, not just blah. I overwhelmed him with what I provided, which was just telling him about us. We're a lot. It's a lot of information to share, a lot of information to dump. When I think something's happening on a relationship level, because sex to us is relationship level stuff. Two people who have some neurodivergence going on, there's just a need for mediated levels of conversation, and so that he can get the fucking support that he needs, because he's not okay here. He's not okay here. He reacted poorly. I feel scared, felt scared, feel a little scared, but feel scared because of this. I'm also not willing to not talk about this experience. I did specifically tell him, don't get with vloggers. Just don't do that. And in community, people talk. You cannot come here and expect to be hidden. That is not a thing. That is an unrealistic expectation. And let me tell you right now, I deal with people who have unrealistic expectations about Omega on a daily basis. All it does is hurt you. You cannot come to Omega expecting it to be anything. You really can't. Because if you do, you're gonna get a lesson. You're gonna get a big lesson. And if you're tired of lessons, baby, that's just life. And if you're tired of life, it's time to take a look at what you need to change. And start pursuing things that fill you up. Okay, well, here's hoping that I haven't just done all matter of damage with this video. Here's hoping that anyone who watches it watches the whole thing. Here's hoping that only good comes from sharing this. Yeah, I know, good in like the universal sense. I feel shitty. I feel bad. I don't like this. Do I really have to release this? Unfortunately, yes. Why? It's what you agreed to do. Boo. All right. I really am scared. I'm not scared to go. I don't want to yet. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave this interaction. I want to know how you're doing, person who's viewing it, because I have every reason to believe that it's number of people who I'm talking directly to, who I just talked directly about, and I just want to know that you're okay. That's all I want. I want you to know. I want to know that you're okay. And for the love of God, not consider your feelings? Are you fucking kidding me? You don't know me at all. You don't want to. That hurts more than anything. But I understand contracts, and I understand why we bump into each other in lifetimes. Please be kind to yourself. Please. That's all I'll say. I wanted to give a final little PSA, because I really am trying to get to an hour here. I just am. Just sort of a... Honestly, my only thing to tell anybody who's scared to talk to PNC would be, what are you really scared of? Like what are you truly scared of? Get clear on that. Like, get clear on what it is you're truly scared of. See if you can find someone else who's willing to go with you so that you have a support person there. Your manager might be a good person for that, would probably be a helpful person for that, because maybe they are, and maybe they're not. You know your manager best. Maybe a friend is. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what your fears are. You're the friend. Ask them if they'd go with you to PNC so that you have support. You have somewhere that you've already practiced this conversation. Write down what you need to, because you might forget. Appreciate your neurodivergence if that's what you've got going on. And then detail to them what it is you're afraid of. Are you afraid of retaliation? Are you afraid of everybody talking? Because of course everyone's going to talk. Are you afraid of the fact that he knows information about you? Are you afraid of reputation, like stuff? Like, what are you afraid of? Truly. And do trust that the other staff members on this campus, I have said it repeatedly, I have found some of the best people I have ever met here. I do know that I can find someone to talk to if I need it at any time. It does take a little work, and you're gonna have to be okay with the fact that you're probably overtaxing somebody at least a little bit, because we're all overtaxed. It's okay. It's just an experiment in reciprocity for you. Lean on them, and then expect that they will lean back. Provide that support. Set yourself up so that you can. I know, that's easier said than done, but at least prepare to, you know? And then go to PNC. I obviously have my complaints about them, but they exist for a reason. Go. Talk to them. Share your concerns. Share your concerns about what they're not going to do. Ask them questions. Ask them targeted questions. Brainstorm the questions with the friend before you get there. What happens if this happens? I need you to tell me. What happens if this happens? I need you to tell me. What happens if this happens? I need you to tell me. And then, yeah, be the adult in the room and stay on top of it. It sucks, and I'm sorry that that's your responsibility, but that is unfortunately the culture here. That is where you are. It's part of accepting where you are. Accepting where you are kind of means accepting that you have to be an advocate for yourself here. So find your friend. Write down what you need to write down. Hold them accountable to doing their jobs. And if they don't, I mean, you don't necessarily have to put yourself out online, but you have my number. I'm happy to talk about anything on here. I don't know where this YouTube channel is going. Maybe nowhere. Maybe just to the few beautiful people that follow. But I do know the power in sharing your story. I do know that it's helpful. I do know that being heard and being validated at least clears things up for you, and then you can make other choices for yourself. All right, we've hit an hour. We did it, everybody. We've made this video something that most people really don't want to watch, and definitely don't want to watch until the end, because it's too much Charlie. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. You get it. This person gets it. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. All right. Well, thank you for being my friend. Our friend. Yeah. Scott just said I love you. I love you. We love you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking all of this in. Thank you so much for not making life harder for someone who I genuinely don't want to make life harder for. And just hope knows that, you know, I don't name names. Could be any man here. And truly, I've heard some shit about the men here, so holy shit. I want to burn it down. No, I don't. No, I don't. I just want to. I want to burn the norms down. I want to burn the culture down. I want for this to be a safe place for staff to thrive. I want it to be a safe place for staff to thrive. Best I can tell right now, it's an endurance challenge. It's the Appalachian Trail. Pretty much. And it wasn't advertised to me as an endurance challenge, okay? But it is. It is an endurance challenge. If you're not up for that, please, for the love of God, just have a place to land. But like the Appalachian Trail, you gotta prepare for it. Gotta have like people on the outside helping you. You might have very different experiences. You will probably get a trail name. Mine's Charlie Cart. That's what I say on the radio. Charlie Cart to guest services. Guest services to Charlie Cart. Go to 2. Charlie Cart. Just existing is who we are. Pissing everybody off along the way. Yep. Sorry. I don't love it myself. I'd really appreciate not being hurt by people too. I'd really appreciate people taking responsibility for their actions as well. Not just blaming me for everything. Okay. Really and truly, I am good. You're amazing. Thank you. Okay. We'll talk soon. Love you. Bye.